Justice with Judge Mablean will be life, because in everything we do, it involves the law.
You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Steve Thompson is suing Jonas Mesa in the amount of $2,903. Mr. Thompson claims Mr. Mesa damaged his property and owes him rent. Mr. Mesa claims the plaintiff verbally agreed to wait until he was employed to pay rent.
In the matter of Steve Thompson versus Jonas Mesa, Mr. Thompson, you're suing your stepson, right?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
For $2,903, you said, for property damage caused to your property while you all were away, and he decided to have a party, huh?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. There's also $600 in back rent included in that figure.
Oh, okay.
I'm here today because I met his mother 5 years ago. We started dating, our relationship became serious, and we got married.
Okay.
At that time, she sold the house that she lived in, or that she owned, and lived in with her son. They moved into my property.
You know what was coming within that property. It was coming
Yes,
me and my mother.
I knew she had
My
a
mom.
son when we got married.
All right, now, hold on. This is how it works, Mr. Mesa, all right? Whether you like him, respect him, or not, as a usual course of business, today you're going to, in this courtroom, and you're going to allow him to talk. And then I'm going to allow you to talk. There will be no cross-talking. And you're going to respect this courtroom. You got it?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Yes, ma'am. His mom and I finally got married about 3.5 years ago when he was going to be a senior in high school. He finished high school and pretended to go to college. I say pretended because he did get accepted at a college. I do not know how he got accepted at a college, but he did. And he went away to college, and he stayed gone maybe a month and a half. That's when they found out he wasn't going to class, and all he was doing was drinking and sleeping all day. And so they kicked him out, he dropped out. Well, excuse me, he dropped out before they kicked him out. Well, his mother comes to me, and let's be honest, you know, if your wife's not happy, nobody's happy, okay? And she begs me to let him move back in with us until he can, quote unquote, find himself. Well, I said, okay, he can come back and find himself, but he's going to have a lease agreement and a contract with what he's going to be doing while he's finding himself.
Okay.
So I drew up a lease agreement here where he's going to pay $200 a month in rent and also follow the house rules, which are not making noise after a certain time at night, no excessive partying, no smoking is one of the things that's in there.
You just gave him a typical rent.
Yes, ma'am, pretty
agreement.
much a typical rent agreement.
2 times you were out drinking and smoking with me, with my friends. Yes, it was a bit awkward at
it's
first.
It's my party.
Well, it's a party.
I'm sorry, it's my house.
It's my party.
It's my house.
Yeah, it's your house.
It's my house.
Hey! I just wanted to see how long you all would go. Now, I mean what I say. Now, maybe your mother and Mr. Thompson let you get away, and maybe the two of you argue with each other, but in my opinion, a parent and a child never needs to argue. Because you have the upper hand, so you don't argue with a child. You say what you mean what you say, and the child needs to close his mouth. And you too, Mr. Thompson, don't argue with him. I'm the only person you should direct your words to.
Yes, ma'am.
Unless I tell you otherwise.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep talking.
Yes, ma'am. So when he moved in, he signed the lease agreement, as you can see, and agreed to all the conditions. And for the first little while, I don't know whether he actually went or not, but he pretended to go out and, quote unquote, look for jobs. And I was getting my $200 every month. So I'm like, okay, you know, this is okay. Maybe he's, you know, his
How many months did he pay?
He only owed me for 3 months back rent, so he's been there 15 months. So he paid. It was 12 months there that I got $200 a month.
But all he owes you is $600.
Yes,
Move
ma'am.
on with the next issue.
Yes, ma'am. All right. I took my wife out of town for a long weekend, for a romantic weekend. It was the anniversary of the first day we ever met. And I took her out of town for a long weekend. Come back into town, and my neighbor next door is seething. He has sent me a scathing email about the noise and raucous partying that was going on all the weekend. He said it started Friday night, just about the time my car hit the street, and didn't stop until Sunday, about the time I got home.
Okay.
Loud noise, and I got back, I found my garage door was broken. I have a picture of that. I found that my yard, it looks like they did a sacrifice in my yard. There's a big burn spot, a huge burn spot in my yard.
You mean the grass is burned?
Yes, ma'am, the grass is burned. I've got a picture of that.
All right.
And
he knows specifically why that occurred.
They also...
Judge, he knows why it occurred. He's acting like he didn't...
Get your behind out of my courtroom right now. I can see what the problem is.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
Your Honor, I'm a 50-year-old man, and I own that property.
So if you're a 50-year-old man, you smoke weed and drink with 50-year-old other men, not with a child that you're trying to teach some responsibility.
I would say you are 100% on that one right there. That was a mistake on my part, but I have done it.
And later.
I have evidence, Your Honor, for...
Oh, just tell me what happened. Didn't I ask you that?
Your Honor, I fired him. That's what
Okay,
happened.
thank you. She fired you.
She did fire me.
That's what I kept asking you. Did you get fired or terminated?
Yes, she fired me.
Justice with Judge Mablean. If you're involved in a dispute and want to settle your case on television, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Steve Thompson, who is suing Jonas Mesa for property damage and past due rent.
So is this the garage window?
That's the garage door that's off the hinge.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll see...
this is the burned grass?
Yes, ma'am. I have no idea how that happened.
And what part of the house is this window?
That's on the back house where he was living. It's our guest house where he was living. He wasn't living in the main house.
Since Mr. Mesa can't speak for himself, I'm going to allow his mother to speak for him. Come forward, Ms. Thompson. What do you know about the situation? Let me see the estimate of the cost.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you know about the situation, Ms. Thompson?
Well, my son's been struggling since not finding work, and I'm just overwhelmed by this whole scenario because I just think it's supposed to be love between us.
Why are you overwhelmed? When you came back from the weekend, was the garage door damaged?
Yes.
Were the windows broken in the back house where your son lives?
But he was...
were the windows broken?
Yes.
Were they broken before you left?
No.
Okay. Was the grass burned?
Yeah, prior.
It was done before you left?
Yes.
How did the grass...
When they were partying together.
Who was partying together?
They were.
Who's they? And Mr. Thompson and your son burned the grass? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. They were
doing
both
what?
Smoking weed.
You smoking weed with him?
Your Honor, I will fully admit that I have at times had drinks and smoked marijuana with my stepson.
Come on, Mr. Thompson. Then how do you expect him to respect you? You got all these rules about don't do this and don't do that, and you're laying out rules to him, and here you are smoking and drinking with him, and then you want him to respect you as your daddy.
Yes,
Come on.
Your Honor, I'm a 50-year-old man, and
That's right.
I own that property.
So if you're a 50-year-old man, you smoke weed and drink with 50-year-old other men, not with a child that you're trying to teach some responsibility.
I would say you are 100% on that one right there. That was a mistake on my part, but I have done it.
Well, because he loses his respect for you, and now he thinks you all the buddies. Let me bring Mr. Mesa in and see if he can explain what happened during this party. Maybe he's calmed down now. Let him come back in.
Answer.
You can go back over to your spot for the defendant.
Okay.
And I can talk to you now. Ms. Thompson, you may be seated. Mr. Mesa, what happened when your parents were out of town?
So what happened was I threw a little small party with my friends. It wasn't as loud. It probably did get a little out of control. It wasn't intended for. It's something I can't. It's out of control.
Yeah, when you have a party, you bring people to the house.
But he didn't mind that at first. Back then, 2 days for 2 days in a row, you know, we would drink, party. He would come over and he would drink with us. We would play a beer pong.
We weren't allowed to
listen
I need
to
you to be
music.
quiet now. Hold on. That's what I'm talking about, being an example. Now, I told your son not to talk up, but here you are.
Yes,
a
ma'am.
50-year-old man.
Yes, ma'am.
And act like one and keep your mouth closed and be respectful.
Yes, ma'am.
So you admit that the party got out of hand and you guys broke the window got broken, and the garage door got broken. But what happened to the grass?
Broken. The window's been broken.
Ever since you broke it.
No, but I did not break that window.
Okay, turnabout is fair play. Your turn to leave. Bye.
Sir?
You said the window was broken before?
Yes.
That's not what your mother and your father said. They
told
said
me
it was broken when they got back from the weekend.
nope, it was been broken.
But both your mother and father say opposite.
But it's true. It's been
Okay,
broken.
but we're not going to go there. I don't believe you. What about the garage door?
The garage door, my friends were skating. It's a big backyard. They were skateboarding. It's nothing bad. They weren't doing any damage to any of the
Did
properties.
the garage
but what
door
happened
hinge get broken?
is he was doing a trick and he accidentally fell. He couldn't keep his balance, and so he fell on the garage.
So it got broken.
Yes, it got broken.
Okay, but
it
you're
wasn't
making excuses for the friend breaking it. But the point is, it's just Mr. Thompson's property, and it's broken.
And I promised him I was gonna fix it.
Okay, when you gonna fix it? How you gonna fix it?
Well, I told him as soon as I can. He knows I don't have a job. I've been looking for a job.
You need to understand that it's important for you to become self-sufficient. Your mother's married to this gentleman who's clearly not going to support you the rest of your days. You need to be serious about finding a job. And in the meanwhile, you need to stop all the partying and drinking and bringing folks over and tearing up the property.
It's hard finding jobs. My mom's
Okay.
been there.
I'm going to order you to pay this money, the $600 in rent.
But what he did, ma'am,
I'm going to order you to pay the $600 in rent. That's my order. I'm going to order you to get that window repaired, to get that garage door repaired. The grass, they just have to wait till it grows back. But you're going to get the garage door repaired. You're going to get the windows repaired. That's the order of the court. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $600.
Son, I'm glad I won the case. I hope it teaches you some responsibility. You have got to get a job.
Yes, you're right. I'm going to get a job, and I will respect your house.
Coming up,
I have evidence, Your Honor, for...
Oh, just tell me what happened. Didn't I ask you that?
Your Honor, I fired him. That's what
Okay,
happened.
thank you. She fired you.
She did fire me.
That's what I kept asking you. Did you get fired or terminated?
Yes, she fired me.
Justice with Judge Mablean.
Allergies can hold you back. Break through with non-drowsy Allegra for fast 5-in-1 multi-symptom relief. Break through allergies with Allegra.
You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. Stephen Morris is suing Blaureen in the amount of $8,900. Mr. Morris claims he suffered from heat stroke while working as Ms. Reen's personal assistant. Ms. Reen claims Mr. Morris was made aware of the job responsibilities and travel schedule, and it's not her fault the plaintiff didn't take care of himself.
You are suing Ms. Blaureen for lost wages and for your medical expenses. Is that right?
Yes,
For
Your
a
Honor.
total of $8,900.
Precisely, yes.
Okay, tell me what happened.
All right, I always followed Mrs. Reen's career. I greatly valued the fact that she was an entrepreneur in the business and her taste in fashion and the fact that she was a business mogul. And so I sought her out, and the first thing I did, I took a chance, and I came to LA, and I applied with hundreds of other applicants, and I got it. I became her personal assistant.
What's the industry?
The industry is fashion. Your
Okay.
Honor.
All right.
And I'm here, Your Honor, because I'm exhausted and I was taken advantage of.
Okay.
Yes.
Explain it.
All right. So to begin with, we started off and it was great. I enjoyed the perks. However, recently, I was told that I would be in charge of a shoot in Dubai, and I would be in charge of making sure the two photographers, all of the models were set up and ready to go with lodging and food and everything, and that I would still be taking care of Mrs. Reen as her assistant. And, Your Honor, I got to the shoot. The weather conditions, it's above 100 degrees out there. And while I was there, I was taking care of everybody else, and I ended up passing out.
Okay.
And I was told it was acute hypothermia of a sort, and it was due to the fact that when I was inside the trailer, that was 72 degrees, and I stepped out, it was about 112 degrees, and that can hit you very hard. And also I was
No,
taking
it's
care...
because you weren't drinking any water.
Your Honor, I was making sure to take care of everyone else
You weren't
before
drinking
me.
any water.
I was not drinking water. However,
And
when
it's
I was
not my job to
walking,
babysit.
when I was walking from the shoot back to the area where the water was, I had 2 waters with me, and I gave them to the models that I was
There was
walking
no
with.
water in the trailer?
There was water in the trailer.
Your Honor, there was water. It was due to his lack of irresponsibility that he cannot drink water.
Coming up,
Your Honor, I fired him. That's what
Okay,
happened.
thank you. She fired you.
She did fire me.
That's what I kept asking you. Did you get fired or terminated?
Yes, she fired me.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Stephen Morris, who is suing Blaureen for lost wages and medical expenses.
What you have to say about it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He knew what the job entailed before he took it. I made sure in the job description that he knew that it was long, exhausting hours. He'd be doing a lot of things for me, and that he had to hold up to those job standards in order to continue and move forward. I have dealt with so much in this career already. I've spent 20 years. I've been where he was already, and I've pushed through, and I've got to the level where I'm at today. Now, it's not my fault that he could not feed himself, drink water, or whatever have you. I can't babysit him, and if he does not communicate properly with others, how are we supposed to know what's going on? He could have easily just said, hey, you know what? I'm feeling a little bad. I need to drink some water. He did not come to me. He did not come to anyone else. Not only did he have to get flown off this production set, which costs us money, which I should be suing you for. It's just been... Like,
So what did you lose? You had to get flown off the production set, so you were no longer... Did you terminate him?
I passed out.
6 weeks. We had 6 weeks left, Your Honor. 6 weeks.
He had 6 weeks left on the contract?
Yes, that I planned on working on, and I'd already spent 10 days planning all
Okay,
this and taking care of it.
So you had 6 weeks left on the contract?
Yes.
Okay, and so you were not terminated. You were sent back to the United States?
Yes, I was taken. I have evidence, Your Honor, for...
Oh, just tell me what happened. Didn't I ask you that?
Your Honor, I fired him. That's what happened.
Thank you. She fired you.
She did fire me.
That's what I kept asking you. Did you get fired or terminated?
Yes, she fired me.
Okay.
She fired me. I did not receive the bonus I was supposed to receive for the work that I was doing. I was supposed to receive $3,500
What was the bonus
for the
based on?
shoot. Based on participating and helping as the assistant
Based on
and doing my job
performance, Your Honor, which he obviously did not
Let me see the
perform very
contract.
well.
So you didn't get your bonus pay. How much was that supposed to be?
That was $3,500 flat
And
rate.
what else did you get?
And then also, I am now charged with the medical bill. My insurance covered the medical bills. However,
Your insurance covered the medical bills?
Yes, but the helicopter is what I have to pay for because we're in the desert and I had to be taken to the nearest hospital. And that was total to $5,400.
For the helicopter?
Yes, which now I have to pay for.
No, she got to pay for that. You own the job. $5,400. He owned the job now. How you going to argue that you don't have to pay for that? He's injured on the job. He falls out on the job. So what? He didn't drink the wine. But the point is, he's still at work. And if his insurance covered the medical, you get out of that. But you got to pay the helicopter ride for the emergency ride that he had to take. And I don't know how you want to argue that, Miss Reed. You've been in business 20 years. You know about labor laws.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. Promotional consideration provided by...
This is your contract. And it said for every travel or project scheduled outside of the United States, he will be given a signing bonus. And he signed the contract. The testimony is there was $5,000 for the helicopter ride, and clearly you have to pay for that since he was on the job, and $3,500 for the bonus because you said signing, and he signed. So judgment for the plaintiff, $8,500.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $8,500.
I'm glad the judge awarded me every single cent and penny of that money because you took advantage of me and I deserve it all.
Well, you shouldn't have took this job if you couldn't handle it. Now I have to pay you all that money and you don't deserve a dime of it? Please.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.